From classrooms to corporations, we're redefining corporate training and sales enablement for growth.
But historically, EdTech has been more for the education sector itself, meaning higher education, K-12s, enrichment centers, after-school tutoring, and things like that. That is how we started, but that is not currently kind of our main focus today. So I'd say today our focus is more on the corporate training side and on the sales enablement side.
So who is like your quote unquote perfect customer?
Great question. Well, right now we're actually working on a deal with what I would define as a perfect customer. Without naming them yet to avoid any issues, but they are a publicly listed company. They do about 9 billion euros in revenue, and they have about 600,000 employees. And today they have no tool or no effective tool for training their 600,000 employees. And this company today is quite pivotal because they provide customer service and other services to Fortune 500 companies. So they need to make sure that their teams are extremely well trained to be able to handle the issues of their clients. But again, they don't have a platform, they don't have a training, they don't have a structured training approach. And so for us, ideal ticket size for that type of company is a couple $1 million a year in average contract value. Takes us 6 months to a year to close a deal like that, but that is really the sweet spot because then we have budget to do a great job. We get to keep these clients for a long time, and we get to grow internally within these kind of companies.
And as for your clients, a new client comes on, is like, do they pay monthly, upfront fee? I guess it depends each situation.
Yeah, it really varies. I think one of the value kind of propositions we offer is we do give a lot of flexibility in that regard. Again, we try to be very customer focused. In general, though, I would say our business model is not very different from many SaaS companies. So it's going to be a lot of subscription-based stuff. If client wants to pay monthly, annually, really it's up to them. We push, obviously, as most companies would, more annual or quarterly pricing. But if a company wants to do monthly pricing, we're very happy with that as well. So it really depends on them.
And do you mainly like deal with, we'll say, like private corporations, like a Coca-Cola, or more like universities and private schools, so to speak, or education?
Sure. So I would say these days we're more skewed towards corporate. So yeah, kind of like the Coke. I mean, I'd love to get Coca-Cola, but companies like that. In the beginning, though, we did start to be more on the education side. So in Vietnam, we work with some of the largest language schools here. We work with, after-school tutoring companies and things like that. But now, unfortunately, what we've seen is that the propensity to spend money on software for education companies is quite low. So that's why we've tried to shift towards corporate slightly. It's unfortunate. I would love to serve more education companies, but the reality is they don't want to pay for it. And sometimes they're a pain in the butt, to be very frank.
So I'm assuming there's quite a few companies doing the same thing you do. Let's suppose it's you and 3 companies like you competing for a contract. Like, how do you convince this corporation to go with you?
Sure. So usually in our sales process, which I don't think is honestly anything overly crazy, we will usually filter for that. So I think it's been very rare that we've ever been in a situation where we have to compete on the same project with 3 other companies. We don't usually put ourselves in that position. But if we were to put ourselves in that position, we almost never compete on price. We always compete on value. So whatever the client's goals are, let's imagine that they want to increase their revenue by, 10%. Most other competitors will almost never focus on that. They'll just tell them, here's the price, whatever, 100K a year, enjoy. But for us, it's like, okay, we don't want to take your money if we're not sure that we're going to add value. So if you invest 100K working with us, I expect that you're going to get at least 300K in some sort of return. So usually when we compete with those competitors, we compete on value and we compete on quality of service. We don't position ourselves as the cheapest, and I never will admit that we are the cheapest either, but I will compete on, we will do the damn best job out of all of our other competitors. So I will give you the best customer service. If I need to be, I will be personally involved in this deal and make sure that you guys have a very smooth migration onboarding. Like, I will move heaven and earth to make sure that we achieve what it is that you are trying to achieve. And I think that's where our clients kind of value the kind of input that we bring.
So you've been around, this company's been around for 3 years, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And like, how many people have working for you right now?
We have, I think, between 60 to 70 staff,
It's like
full-time staff.
Okay, so how do you go about this, right? Of course, you first start out, few people working for you, you're
Right.
hands-on to everything.
Yep.
But the more and more people you hire, the less you got to get away, right?
Yes.
Less you involved in culture, all the data decisions.
Yes.
Like, how do you like make that transition from quote unquote startup founder like to
Mm.
a real CEO, right?
Sure. So I think it really starts, well, I think I can only really share what we've done in our company. So we started off really hiring generalists. Let's call them expert generalists in the beginning. People who could wear different hats, do different things, which included myself. And then, as we got our first 2-3 large deals, we started very slowly to go from expert generalists to more specialists. And so now within our company today, I think, we've hired a good mix of talent. That means that folks are able to really focus on what they're good at. And now I also focus on at least what I believe that I'm good at, which is really meeting with clients, helping them solve their problems. So I spend a lot of time on the sales side, a lot of time on the customer service side. And essentially now everybody in the company is very focused on what they're good at and less so on things that they're not good at. So I'm an okay recruiter, but my co-founder Edgar is a far better recruiter, for example. So when it comes to hiring, managing all the back office operations, all that, I leave that all to him. And so I think we've done a very good job of separating out these roles, both for ourselves as co-founders, but also within our kind of direct reports and team as well. So now we're at a stage where everybody's kind of specialized, and we're going to kind of scale by adding more specialists than generalists. But I would still say that within our company, we have about maybe 30 or 20% are still expert generalists, and then 70-80% are now more specialists.
And have you like bootstrapped the company so far?
Yes.
Any plan to do a fundraiser anytime soon? Just gonna do
To be perfectly candid, nope.
Okay.
We're not raising. We've been approached by many funds. In the very beginning, that was a path that we considered, and I've done my 100 pitches, been rejected 100 times. I've been through that.
Yeah.
That was fun. Or not.
Yeah.
And then, but now we've decided, when we started this company, and I'm perfectly happy to admit it here, we set our goal that we wanted to build a $50 million business. We didn't want to build a unicorn. It was never our intention. We wanted to build a good business that we were proud of at a big enough scale where we felt we were making impact.